Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Next Issue podcast. Today will be a shorter episode. I have places to be, but we didn't want to miss another show in a row. So
Everybody here is important except me. I got nothing going on.
when Josh bailed, he's just like, "Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you guys I can't make it."
Yeah.
Kyle's off celebrating his birthday. Happy birthday, Kyle! If
Happy
you're watching
birthday,
this,
Mr. Kyle.
Happy
that's
birthday,
right.
Kyle.
The Kylepedia needs to be. It goes back to the mothership every year to reload, reconnect.
I think it's funny because at this point, Kyle hasn't been on the show for long enough. It may just be a myth that he's on the show.
Yeah, he's,
no one's actually seen him.
like people may go in the description of the videos and like, who's Adrian Harry? So
that's why I dropped in chat like a month or two ago.
But yeah, Adrian drops in every once in a while just to say, like maybe his YouTube. He forgets he's subscribed to this network.
Although if we don't put our names up, I mean, they don't know who we're talking about. Like I could be Kyle. Like we could all just rotate names.
What happened to our branding? That like
I took it off because when I'm making clips, it's annoying that the names are there. Yeah, it's just an aesthetic thing. Yeah, because that way when I do clips, I don't have to like if the names, whatever. Yeah, the name would be there, and I'm like, it's annoying. I don't like it. It doesn't look good. So sacrifices must be made. So if you want to wear a name tag going forward, feel free.
Yeah. Just a sign behind me that says my name is Jeff.
Yeah.
I redid like my whole wall back here, so I should have just put up it's Clay.
One of those neon signs. It just says Clay, Clay, Clay.
Yeah.
And then everybody's like, that guy must be a potter. He loves clay.
Pottery man. We got a whole bunch of stuff. I forgot to ask before we got started. Did you guys get a chance to read the comic book?
Yes.
I think Jeff picked maybe a good one. We'll see. We'll talk about it. We'll do it at the end of the show. Maybe not. Clay may not be as into it as we'll see. So if you want to stick around, we're gonna be talking about Vicarious number 1 from Boom Studios later on. All right. Before we get into the show, I got a quick rant that I need to get off my chest. So I work from home most days, and the traffic pattern in my street has changed because they're doing some construction. And usually the first day of a new traffic pattern is a mess for everyone. Like, I didn't even know it had changed. Like, I went out, got my coffee in the morning like normal, came back home. And then around like 1 or so, I just heard honking. Like one truck just blaring the horn for like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I'm like, all right, I got to go outside, figure out what's going on, right? And there's like a long line of cars in front of my house. Well, not in front, across the street. So the street right in front of my house, it's only for local access, I guess. And then the other side, which would be the opposite direction normally, is now a two-way street. So there's a car there, and it's just like this truck in front of my house blaring the horn. It's been almost 10 minutes at this point. So I go outside. I figure out, like, trying to see what's going on. So apparently they hadn't fixed I live close to the intersection, so they hadn't fully put up the lights back working again, and it was like a 4-way stop. And people don't know how to do a 4-way stop. Like, they just figure, like, my turn.
Yep.
So apparently there was a collision. So like that specific lane, they were trying to get the cars cleared out. But I feel like this guy, after 5 minutes of honking, like, you probably should stop. It's not doing anything, right?
Yeah.
So I go outside. One of my neighbors, not the one right next door, the one from across the street, like a little bit farther, also goes outside. We just kind of give each other like, I don't know what's going on. And then a guy's walking by from where I would think the traffic, wherever it happened. And I asked him what happened. He's like, yeah, so there was a collision. And I was like, and you can start seeing cars like starting to U-turn out of there so they can get out of the way. But yeah, this truck was just blaring the horn. Like even when they started moving, he was still going at the horn, and I was like, bro, like it's not doing anything. That's not what the horn is for. It's not a magical horn that will fucking clear the road. You don't just blow the horn and then like the Red Sea parts right in front of you.
The longer you use the horn, the more traffic separates.
Yeah, so be mindful of your horn. You want something I do is before I hit the horn, I do an imaginary horn with my mouth. So like whenever I feel like it's due for me to use the horn, before I do that, I honk with my mouth first, like and then if I still need to use the horn, like I go and then if I still need to use the horn, then I'll use it, and that to me like justifies like okay, maybe it's been long enough, right? Because it'd be like if I honked at you twice.
I feel like there should be like like two different versions of a horn. There should be polite horn, and then
the
horn.
tap.
Yeah. Pardon.
I
don't know if you noticed the light has changed. Pardon.
I know you're on your phone, and I'm sure it's not important, but you may want to look up now.
Yeah. Everybody, let's pay attention.
Yeah. So there you go. There's your traffic update.
Wow, that. We just had to call 911 on our neighbors. There was like a fight over here. Yeah. And so we're like sitting to dinner and we hear this screaming. And so we're like, what the fuck? And so I kind of peek out through the blinds and I see, this couple and I see a kid and I'm like, oh, holy shit, we need to call the cops or something going on. And then Shelby looks out and she goes, they knocked out some other guy there. And the woman there just ran up and kicked him in the head. And I was like, holy shit. But then this tells you how much you see like within those moments, because as we called the cops and I said, well, I think that there's a kid there. Shelby goes, that's just a small adult. It's not a child. Because I thought there was this little kid running around behind this guy. But yeah, we hit fucking weird neighborhood that we live in.
You need to grab a phone and start recording immediately if you ever want to go viral.
Oh no, I don't want to record a beating like that, like where someone's just helpless getting. But like you go, what's the story that these people have to get like so wound up and just start fighting in the front yard? But all of Mesquite just came down, which was like 4 cops, so they stopped it, nice. Shut it down.
You think did they carpool?
They got the whole fleet out. They were all here.
Yeah. Whose car are we taking today, guys? Yeah. Bring the big.
And then they had to leave 2 behind because they arrested some people and they needed the space. In the car to take them back. So they're like, we'll just Uber back. That's fine.
Yeah, we'll Uber back.
Actually, the station's actually just right there, so we could just walk back.
We'll just walk. It's fine. I need to get my steps in.
I know we're making Mesquite sound like it's just like 2 blocks of a city. It's not. It's bigger than that. But
I know. It feels like a small city. We're like in the corner of it. So like if crimes are committed in our neighborhood, they're only like 3 ways out of our neighborhood. So basically, you're trapped in. We've had car chases come through here because we're right off the highway of 80. Yeah. So coming out of Dallas, people will come through and they think they can cut through the neighborhood, but it really just puts them back out on the highway.
Oh, yeah. So there you go. Don't commit crime in Mesquite.
Or in Clay's neighborhood. Don't do it. His neighborhood watches tight.
That's right. In general, don't commit crime.
In general.
All right. All right, let's get into it. Let me start because man, I watched a lot in the last. This is actually just from the last week. I didn't even go back to the previous week that we didn't have a show. So let me go through some of the highlights. I guess one of the things is from the previous week. So I watched Joker Folie à Deux. I just want to say,
let's get into it.
I don't think it's as bad as the internet claims it is.
Yeah,
it's weird and it's very different from the first one. And
I understand it though.
Yeah, I can see why people don't like it, and I think that's fair. I just don't think it's a bad film. Like the people working on these films, even if you don't like Todd Phillips, like everyone else is so good that it'd be hard for them to make a bad movie, right? I think The story's kind of light. Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of talent behind the. Because I even went back to look. I was like, the people that shot this movie, they've shot some really cool shit. So like, it looks really good. So, but then once you go ahead, were you gonna say something, Clay? Go ahead.
Well, I just, the I haven't seen it, and so it's hard for me to judge. But I do know the ending of the film. So to me, this is like you've spent all this time getting to something that isn't what you're told it is. And that's kind of the, bummer part of it. Like you think, because it's such an important performance. It's very much what you see out of the book. It's brought to life by Arthur Fleck, but then you get this thing at the end that's like, oh no, we were just kind of it's kind of like watching two films about the guy who kills Bruce Wayne's parents. Like you're just seeing that one crime that invokes a bigger story. And so we just so you're watching two films that invoke a bigger story about someone else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like yes, he's an inspiration, but it's a reluctant inspiration. He doesn't want to be him and kind of wants to get out of it in the second movie. From what I see, he runs from the identity.
And I think the funny part is that I think maybe the people, even Todd Phillips, like, maybe I don't want to make another Joker movie. Like, I just wanted to make one, but you want me to make another one. We're going to make another one, and we're going to have no screenings, no studio notes. Like, this really feels like you get what you asked for, right? You forced me to make a sequel. I'm going to give you a sequel.
Yeah. But
honestly, when you put it like that, so I haven't seen it either, but when you put it within that kind of context, that kind of makes me want to see it more, whether it's real or not. I like the idea. I'm not a huge Todd Phillips fan, just of his. It's just not my kind of thing. He's just too dark for me. But I do like his kind of like Gen X rambunctiousness, where he's just like, I don't effing care, like whatever.
Yeah.
So in that context, where I can see it, like I don't want to do a Joker sequel. Like I don't have anything else to say about it. I don't even know. Like for me, the Joker wasn't even like a movie. From the get go, I was like, this feels like a movie that could have gone without the Batman skin. Like you could have just made the Waynes just any rich family. It didn't even have to be like, it had nothing to do. It could have been like the John Wayne Gacy story or whatever. It's just a guy that dressed in clown makeup. So I never really felt like it was a Joker thing. So, but yeah.
I mean, it's weird because it's just like, here's an inspiration for crime and two films about it. But the bigger inspiration that we would see would be the people who have embraced it and taken that idea and gone in weird directions with it. And that kind of could have been the bigger story, I guess. Like if you had killed Arthur Fleck, like in the first 10 minutes of this film, people would have shit their pants. But then the rest of the film be the inspiration for what he had done and how it affected the city.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot they could have done. I will say I made a video about actually 3 pitches to possible sequels in this world. So not so much sequels for the Joker, but just like more movies in this world. So I mean, there could be something there. I want to give a quick shout out to what's his name? Oh, Harry Lottie, who played Harvey Dent. He was really good. He's an actor from Industry, which is a show I watch on HBO Max. Which I would not say no to a Two-Face film with him, like him struggling to stay Harvey Dent and not become Two-Face.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. So
I kind of thought this might hurt the other villain movies, but we're still going to get a Bane movie. And what was the other movie they announced?
Bane and Deathstroke, I think, together.
Yeah. So that's obviously just not going to hurt them, but it just really like kind of burns the opportunity to see these standalone, because Penguin's fantastic. Like you look at the two differences between what we've got with Penguin and Joker. Penguin's fucking incredible. And it's like 3 episodes in, and every episode is tense and fantastic. And I'll say it again, Sophia Falcone is one of the best villains Batman has ever had in any media, film, television, what have you, except for maybe 3 characters.
Yeah.
Heath Ledger's Joker. We talked about this. It was Heath Ledger's Joker, Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman, and oh shit, who was the other one?
I don't remember the third. Yeah,
Arnold's Mr. Freeze.
That's right.
No, but I would love to see a standalone Mr. Freeze movie. You know,
I want to see the Jokerized Mr. Freeze movie where it's about like an ice cream man named Mr. Freeze that is the inspiration to the. I want them all to have like
The theory is that the next Matt Reeves Batman film will be about Mr. Freeze. If you look at the timeline of the show, this happened in Halloween, so winter is coming to Gotham. So we'll see.
That'll be so good.
That'd be cool.
I want to return to funny Batman, not funny Batman. I don't want to go full Adam West, but I need a little bit more silly Batman.
You're getting a Brave and the Bold movie that might give you something a little bit more lighthearted.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I want some. I'm a little burned out on realistic, gritty Batman. We've had 30 years of it.
Wait till we get to the comics part of this.
I mean, the element from the Reeves stuff that I really love is the learning Batman. You know, him falling and failing and learning to just take the beatings and just get up and keep going. I love that aspect that he's not perfect yet, because we all kind of expect this high level of perfection for Batman, that he's already figured everything out before everyone else.
My favorite part of that Matt Reeves movie, and this was like during the car chase scene when Penguin's car flips over. There's that one shot where Batman comes in from like the side, and he's kind of like angled in like this. I laughed my ass off in the theater when that happened, because it's so weird to see him coming at that weird angle.
Yeah,
that's what I want. I want weird angle Batman.
Just Dutch angles.
Dutch angle shots.
Dutch angle shots.
Or
I was just like, it's weird. It's weird to think of a man in a bat suit kind of leaning over, checking on, you all right down there?
Yeah. Jeff's favorite Marvel movie, it's recordedly Thor, because of all the Dutch angles.
Yeah, I love me a good Dutch angle. Keep it coming, Kenneth.
More Branagh. Bring Branagh back to the MCU.
Yeah.
Kenneth Branagh directs Deadpool 4.
But he has the big Perroy mustache. Deadpool has
Deadpool would have it. That would be the most meta shit, right?
Yeah.
All right. Let's keep on here. So I also went to the movies this week to watch. I wanted to go watch Saturday Night, and I will eventually. But
it's so good.
Watch My Hero Academia. You're next. So this will probably mean nothing to you guys. But it's an anime film. It's pretty good. We have a review for it on the channel. I really, really enjoyed it. And let me tell you, so I want to talk really quickly about, I watched 4 episode 1s of new stuff on TV this week. And let me tell you which ones you should watch and which ones you could probably skip. So I'm going to start with Sweet Pea. This is on Stars. No one has Stars, and that's probably the biggest thing going against this show. It's really, really good. I forget her name. She's from the Fallout series. She's Ella Purnell. She's really good. She's kind of like this meek character that has had enough and ends up going and like becoming kind of like a serial killer. Maybe, I don't know. That's kind of the vibes I get from episode 1. So that one, if you have Stars, or if you can get Stars, get a trial or something, I recommend Sweet Pea. I also watch Lara Croft Tomb Raider, the new animated show on Netflix. That one's okay. I think I'll keep going eventually, but it's not something that immediately rose to the top of my list. I think the funniest part is that I was watching it and I was like, I guess the trope of like, this British person going and ransacking other people's treasures doesn't really hold up in 2024.
Yeah, she should be the villain.
Yeah, I was like, no, put that back. That's not yours. So that's part of it. I also watched the first episode of HBO's The Franchise. This is the show following Penguin. That it's kind of a sitcom by Armando Iannucci and other people. Sam Mendes is also co-creator, and it follows a crew making a big franchise movie, a la like Marvel Studios or DC or whatever. So that's pretty great. Daniel Bruhl is fantastic. He plays this artistic type of director that's been kind of brought in as part of this world. So it's really really fun. I love the franchise. So definitely recommend that one to keep
Oh,
watching.
good.
And then the last thing, this is for all the Dragon Ball people. I watched the first episode of Dragon Ball Daima, which is a new anime that's kind of set right after the events of Dragon Ball Z. It's really good. It does spend like a big part of it spends just kind of recapping some of the stuff you need to know for the show. But then like the first episode is extra long. It's like 30 minutes, which like anime usually is only like 22 minutes. So yeah, a lot of really good stuff. So those are the four shows I watched. I was gonna watch Teacup on Peacock, but I didn't have a chance because that's like another horror show. So I'll probably talk about that later on. And then my big recommendation, and I'll let you guys chime in a second. My big recommendation is La Máquina. This is a new show on Hulu with Gael Garcia Bernal and Diego Luna. They're teaming
Ooh.
back up. And Gael Garcia Bernal plays an aging boxer. Diego Luna is like his skeevy manager, and they're just trying to get one more win. And you kind of dive a little bit into the world of corruption in the boxing industry, specifically in Mexico. Also, what it's like for these boxers that have taken all the hits to the head. So it's more like a little bit more of a updated contemporary Rocky story, kind of. I think the biggest barrier of entry for this is that it's mostly in Spanish because it does take place in Mexico. And I almost wish I could take the subtitles off of Hulu, like the English hard coded subtitles, because obviously I don't need them. I speak Spanish, so I understand why there's subtitles in the show. But actually, they kind of get in the way because sometimes they don't. You can't translate everything, specifically when they're using like mannerisms and like just like more localized stuff. You can't really translate that sometimes, so it's a little distracting. But the show's very good. I'm 3 episodes in, really, really enjoying it. So that's yeah, like I said, I watched a lot of stuff. Oh, and I watched the 4:30 movie, the Kevin Smith thing.
How was it?
I liked it. It's fun. It's a little
Yeah.
long. Even it feels a little long, even though it's not that long. But that's
Yeah.
because Kevin Smith always likes to take his he likes to put in those little things of like, we're gonna have a whole thing that has nothing to do with the movie, but we're gonna have a good time with it. But yeah, it's fun. I think I tweeted out that it was like maybe my second favorite Kevin Smith movie after Clerks 2.
Whoa.
Yeah, I
Whoa.
mean I've only watched the Clerks once. Really. I don't really follow him into the Jay and Silent Bob at all. When they're by themselves, I'm not a big fan of those. But I like them within the Clerks world, which is I know it's weird.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm gonna set up a double feature for you from what I watched.
Jersey Girl.
Yes.
I do want to check out Red State. I hear that's very good.
Oh, you got John Goodman. You can't pass up on a great
That's
John
right.
Goodman performance.
So real quick, hold on. So Leonard Kim, I saw that Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare is on Stars. I have to get a trial just for that. Yeah, I mean, I love that
That is
movie.
good.
I had a
God
really fun
damn,
time with
that's
that.
good.
Yeah, so I found out Lionsgate owns Stars, so that's probably why a lot of their movies end up there.
Did you see that Lionsgate hasn't had like a movie come out this year that's crossed? I forget what it is, like $100 million or something like that. Like they've every
Did the
single
Crow?
Lionsgate.
The Crow didn't
No,
make didn't crack that, or was it?
no,
I think the Crow and Borderlands are both Lionsgate. I think, right? No, I
Ouch.
yeah,
think Borderlands is Sony.
Oh,
yeah. I think
Borderlands
Borderlands is Sony.
yeah, it makes
I'll see
sense
if I
because of the
can find
video
that.
games. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yikes.
yeah.
All right,
They've been
that's all I
doing not
watched.
great.
Well, I watched one more thing, but I'm gonna wait till Clay. So, Clay, why don't you tell us what's next?
okay. To follow up on your Kevin Smith, I've got a double feature for you. Magnum Dopus which is a documentary about the making of Jay and Silent Bob reboot. Because it follows Kevin kind of going back to all his friends that he had done these movies with and saying, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to bring you back and do this scene. And this is what you're part of, this bigger world and everything. I loved Kevin Smith films. I've never seen Tusk. Tusk is the only one I'm kind of like, I don't care to see your, crazy Tusk body horror. Is it a comedy? What is it? I don't know. But this week he's already talking about doing a sequel. Like I was watching his live show and he was very much like talking to Justin Long, man. Tusk 2 could be happening. But then we heard that about Mallrats. We heard that, we heard that about Clerks animated film.
I think he finally got the rights back from Mallrats, or maybe not the rights back, but somebody else. Dogma. Somebody else finally has Dogma. So
that's he's going to tour with it. So
yeah. Quick question about Magnus Opus. Is him going around asking his friends to be in the movie less cringe than the Bratz documentary on Hulu?
Yes. Okay, I will say it's definitely less cringe than that because it's him interacting with the camera and talking about like, hey, the importance of this person or what they're doing and now and like he shoots a scene with Ben Affleck who comes back with Joey Lauren Adams and everything, and just him and Ben's friendship had been, I guess, disrupted through the years, and the fact that they were able to kind of reconnect and shoot this was great. Ben has like a great moment because they always goofed on him in the commentaries about him being the bomb in Phantoms, and so he kind of riffs on himself now saying, Ben Affleck was the bomb as the Batman, he kind of just starts, playing in with the jokes, and him and Kevin seem to be really good friends. So that's nice to see, but it's just the compiling of that movie and kind of where it came from. Plus it's post, heart surgery, I believe. After he had the Widowmaker. So he is very much in the tone of like, hey, I have a second chance and I'm not going to waste it. And that's kind of what I love about it the most.
Cool.
Other than that, man, I've just been knee deep in horror movies. Shelby and I are doing 2 franchises this year for, I guess we're doing 3 franchises because we already went through all the Critters films, which are home runs. Those are all crazy fun movies until the last one, which is really terrible. But the first couple are really fun to watch and just crazy. Children of the Corn. I love the first one. And I think the rest of them are bad, but like the second one's really dull. But we're going to go through the rest of them. And I just love creepy kids. Creepy kids taking over a town, killing all the adults and just running the show is a great premise. But then they have like 7 films. So it's like, how are you going to do that for 6 more films? So we're only 2 in so far. We started Salem's Lot from the original TV movie from back in the day, which still holds up. It's a solid home run. But the best movie I discovered this Halloween is Return to Salem's Lot, which is a Larry Cohen film. And this movie is insane. It has terrible 80s parents. It's got this guy shows up to pick up his kid. They have a terrible relationship. They curse at each other. Instead of the slow build to vampires right off the bat, but they're all old people. So it's just a town of old vampires. And then this guy's kind of like, he's kind of like, well, I'm going to stick around a little bit with my kid and these vampires. It makes no sense, but if you love good bad movies, Return to Salem's Lot is a home run. I absolutely loved how bad that movie was.
I will say I did watch the new Salem's Lot, and I'm sure
we're about to watch that. Yeah.
I had never seen the other ones, but I kind of knew the vibe from the trailer and stuff. I thought it was good. I like Louis Pullman. I think he's a fun actor.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe we can talk about that more in depth when you guys watch that.
Yeah, we're still trying to track down the 2004 Salem's Lot with Rob Lowe, because that one apparently isn't streaming anywhere.
Is that the TV one?
I think it might have been a TV. a TV one too.
I think one of them was like a TV series or something, like a mini series on TV. How they, how they would do like special mini series or whatever. That was like,
Yeah,
so.
because that's what the original Salem's Lot was just a TV movie, so it's pretty long. Yeah, but I mean, you got James Mason in it. He's really great. I mean, they spend more time on the town, so you get to know the people like you are in a Stephen King book. In a Stephen King 90-minute movie, you're not going to get to know the town people the way he presents it in a book.
With all the streaming and stuff, I miss the 2-night event of like a TV movie, because it was like it's too long to play like in just one night, right? So they would split it up into like 2 nights or whatever.
Yeah,
like that doesn't happen anymore, because now with streamers they just throw it on there or whatever. So we're missing out.
Yeah,
we need a sweeps week again.
When everyone puts everything on 1 week, that would be wild if streaming did that. They just everything drops for 1 week.
Yeah.
The last two
and only 1 week, and then at the end of the week they just pull it.
Shit, that's some David Zaslav shit right there. The last two movies I've seen before, but if you love crazy, insane, like disturbing films, Fried Berry and Mandy are fantastic. Like, I love how crazy these movies are. Fried Berry's about a guy who is a drug addict who gets picked up by aliens, and then the aliens kind of use his body while they're on drugs to learn about the world. Yes. And there is I won't give you any warning, because there's some really, if you're going in, it's disturbing and it's weird, but there's one shot in there that will mess you up. And I'm just talking to the guys that are watching this one. Mandy's so great, but the thing I loved, I learned about Mandy was that they got Nick Cage and they were wanting him to play the cult leader that's in this movie, and he's like, no, I want to play the victim guy. I want to play that guy, and
I want to be Mandy.
I want to be Mandy. Man, but Nick Cage's insanity in this is the best. It's Nick Cage at 11. It's insane. It's filled with incredible shots, and just, I mean, it may be one of the top 5 revenge movies of all time.
I can't wait till Longlegs is on streaming somewhere, because I feel like you're gonna. I still haven't finished that movie. I can't go back.
Really?
Yeah, I can't.
I'm in. That's.
But I hear that the last 30 minutes get even crazier. So like I need to go back and finish it, because that's about how long I have left. So
yeah. But yeah, that's all the movies I've been watching. I'm just stuck in a horror and induced marathon all summer or all October, and I love it.
Nice. All right, Jeff, you want to start with the movie, the watch, and then go to the read?
Sure. I only watched one thing, and I saw Saturday Night, the new movie Saturday Night last night, which is the new movie about the first episode of Saturday Night Live, and it is fantastic. I loved it. It is so good. Everybody really inhabits like the character, like the person, the real life person they're playing. The guy that does Chevy Chase, it feels like Chevy Chase. He kind of looks like Chevy Chase.
He's the Riddler from
the Riddler.
Gotham.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, it's so good, and it's kind of like a weird. It's like watching a bunch of like weird acting, just kind of, not lessons, but I don't know, like
what if improv was really, really good?
Yeah. What's his name who plays Dan Aykroyd? Dylan O'Brien is just killer as Dan Aykroyd. It's and it really does capture it's very, everybody looks good except for like the people that are dead. Like they do make Chevy Chase look like an asshole. They make Milton Berle like the Milton Berle that he really was.
I do have one question, because Milton Berle was known for wearing like an open robe around places, and they don't do that, do they?
He definitely does take his dick out in the movie. Yeah. you do get to see a little bit of Uncle Milty.
Uncle Milty.
yeah.
And that's J.K. Simmons playing him, right?
Yeah, that's J.K. Simmons. Yeah, it's such a great cast. It looks like they had a lot of fun shooting it, and I'm sure with Jason Reitman, the director, I mean, he knows he has to know half these people in real life because Ivan Reitman's his dad. So like, I'm sure he grew up around most of these guys, or at least people that are very connected to them. So
what if he does a new Ghostbusters film with the guys playing the people?
Like his next movie is instead of Saturday Night, it's the making of Ghostbusters.
That'd be great.
Yeah, give Hollywood any
so
ideas.
Good. Yeah, I'm sure AI has already spit that out. Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. And it does a really good job of capturing like just how crazy of an environment like doing live, what is essentially live theater is. And then putting a television show and all that around it. And then just how it captured the zeitgeist of just what that show would become, like, and how much of a cultural impact it would, unleash upon the world, kind of thing. So I really enjoyed it. I think it's great. And the guy that plays the guy from Succession, I can't remember the cousin
Greg.
Cousin Greg, like he plays both Jim Henson and
George Carlin.
Not George Carlin. Andy
Kaufman.
Andy Kaufman. Like he does a dual role and he plays them both perfectly. It's just he's so good.
How do they present Andy Kaufman? Because it seems to me like I don't think people would get him nowadays.
I mean, he's like full on that first, where he does the Mighty Mouse, and he's doing that kind of taxi character where he's speaking in that weird high pitched kind of European accent, and he's Latka, yeah. So, and he's in that character the whole time. So he's playing Andy Kaufman playing Latka the whole time. Like,
did you watch the first episode of SNL afterwards to just like get the vibes?
I did look at a couple of
sketches,
like on YouTube. Yeah, on sketches on YouTube. Yeah,
nice.
But I haven't seen the full episodes. I think they're all on Peacock. I was gonna go back and look at some of those.
Some of them are not. I believe they've been taken off for various reasons. Yeah, so a lot of.
I know that first season. I've heard that first season's real rough, actually. Yeah. And I read that Clay showed a couple of weeks ago that book, that Big Saturday Night book that came out like 20 years ago, 25 years ago.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of excerpts of interviews. And I read that when it came out. So yeah, it's pretty, I mean, they talk, it's so funny. It's a good movie. I loved it.
Nice.
Anyway, highly recommend. So you want to get into comics?
Let's do it.
I'll show off this thing. I have not read it yet. This is
cool.
This is the Superman versus Wonder Woman reprint that DC put out with Jose Garcia Lopez.
Are they fighting for Uncle Sam?
I don't know. I haven't flipped through it yet, but the artwork is just.
Ooh!
Damn! Look at those
splash pages.
Yeah, so
they
good.
Know how to use those oversized books.
Yeah. So
they've been doing a lot of those, and I don't buy them every time because otherwise I'll have a bunch of giant books in my library now.
Right. Yeah, because I picked up the other one like 2 weeks ago, the Superman Muhammad Ali a few weeks ago. They're still sitting here, so I have to read them. I was out of town 2 weeks ago, so I had a ton of comics, but I've not read my full thing, so I'm just going to go over what I've read real quick. Scarlet, number 5, wraps up the series. Really good. I like this world they're building. Good job. This new Action Comics from Mark Waid and Clayton Henry. Really good.
I like his art.
Yeah, and it's Mark Waid. Like,
and it's weekly. Unfortunately,
it's weekly.
Oh, it is weekly.
That's gonna hurt my.
This is the Action Comics I picked up.
Whoa,
that's pretty.
Goodness.
The only problem is that fingerprints on this, like, they're hard. I'm gonna have to wipe this down before I bag and board it.
You need to get the white gloves.
Right.
Absolute Power number 4 wraps up the Absolute Power series. everything's beautiful in DC universe right now.
Yeah. If you want to know what happens, we got a video on the channel that I go through every spoiler.
I feel like my only complaint is this is the most crossover event where so much happens outside the main book that it is kind of hard to just read the main book.
You really need to read at least the Task Force 7.
How many
Yeah.
tie-ins?
It's really Absolute Power, Task Force 7, and
There's an
then
Amanda
Batman,
Waller
Wonder
book.
Woman, and Superman, and Green Arrow.
Those are
the
main tie-ins.
I think so. Yeah, like
Okay.
because I read everything, so like I would say if you want to get the complete story, like if they put out an Absolute edition, all those issues would be in there.
Yeah, because all I was reading was just the 4 issues of All In, and
Yeah,
it does kind of like Mark Waid does a good job of kind of like letting the characters kind of fill you in as to what happened in between the issues.
Well, because they got to fill in everybody else, right? So like it works.
Yeah. So but all of a sudden like Hal will show up and he's like, "I'm fully powered again" or whatever, and you kind of are like, "Oh, well, that happened off screen for me."
All right. Well, real quick, we've been added to the multiverse. So thank you.
Ooh.
I don't know what that means, but all right.
We got the All In
Oh, cool.
specials.
Yeah. The book that you have to read upside down.
Love it. Yeah, I thought it was great. I also love what's his name's art.
Well, there's 2. There's Wes Craig, and then there's
Craig.
There's 3 artists. Yeah.
Wes
Craig does the Omega side. So
yeah, Wes Craig has a fun cartoony art style that I'm not familiar
we
with.
also have a video on all the spoilers for that on the channel.
I know you want to show off all your covers. Here is the
Let's
one
get to
absolute
it.
Batman.
I love just the basic cover that you've got there.
Yeah, I kind of looked at some of the other variants, and honestly, this was my favorite cover.
Yeah.
Mitch.
Who did the one you got, Daniel?
That was Mitch Gerards.
Ooh.
There's not that many different ones. This is the Wes Craig.
I like the Wes Craig one.
I like the Wes Craig. I didn't pick up the Jim Lee just because it was going to be too many, but the Fat Symbol one, the foil, and then the Virgin foil cover.
Wow. I need a diagram as to how that bat symbol on his chest works.
Well, if you read it,
I know what he does with it.
No, I know what he does with it too. I need the diagram as to how it works.
This one's bag and boarded because I'm gonna send this one off to get graded later. And then this one's my reading copy because it's damaged and I got it for free.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
Nice.
Cool.
So I'm gonna wear out with the shit out of this one.
I'm curious to see who makes the first battle axe.
Oh, somebody's going to New York Comic Con with an absolute Batman battle axe.
I just cleaned out my garage. Maybe I can draw one out and put one together.
Yes. All right. What else?
Also, we know exactly how old this one is. He's definitely younger than I am.
Yeah, I'll have a video. I'll have a video next week with all everything that just happened. So the review we have is non-spoiler for now.
He's a Batman. Birds of Prey number 14. It starts off a new story arc because all of DC's doing new story arcs. Still love Kelly Thompson doing this comic. She's great at the characters. This is by far my favorite comic of probably the last 2 weeks. This Fantastic Four, what is this, 26? Wow. Reed and Johnny are left to their own devices while Ben and Sue and Alicia take all the kids to New York to go trick-or-treating. And Johnny and Reed find out that they have a hellmouth underneath the house that they've been staying at in Arizona. And just through shenanigans, because Johnny basically negs Reed into doing it, they dig up the hellhole, and then they have to figure out a way to close the hellhole and then fix the house before everybody else gets back from New York. And it is just hijinks and hilarious. Ryan North writes these people so well. They almost get away with it, but everybody comes back and they're just like, "What did you do?" kind of thing. It's just, I love this comic so much. It's so good.
I can't wait till it comes out collected because that's the way I'm going to get to read it.
Yeah. And I know he's building up something. Ryan North is, but the last few issues have just been like these nice little one and dones, just kind of slowly, just kind of like.
Next year we have that big Doom event, and I'm sure that this book is going to be a big part of it somehow.
Yeah.
So
the new Batman story arc kicked off here with Batman. What is this? 153. Beautiful art by Jorge Jimenez. Man, DC's got a lot of great artists right now.
Yeah.
mm-hmm. There's just a lot of great artists in general, I think. But yeah, DC's been using them really well. We also have a full spoiler review for that one on the channel. Make sure to go check it out. We talk about who this new character may or may not be.
Ooh, tease.
Commander Star.
Steve Rogers. This is the new Exceptional X-Men #2. I love this book. This is probably Gail Simone's Uncanny might still be my favorite. This is my second favorite.
I mean, it has Kitty Pryde in it, so
yeah, you can't go wrong with Kitty. I like all the new characters they're introducing.
Yeah,
it feels more organic how they're introducing them. I feel than most. Sometimes Marvel will just be like, "Here's a new character with 6 new characters we threw in a book."
Even Gail Simone just dropped them in and said, "We'll shake them out later," right?
So. Yeah. So I really enjoy it. And then the most recent issue of Transformers 13.
Wow.
We get a little Starscream backstory. That's cute.
Who knew you could care about Starscream?
I know. You put a little bit of humanization in my Starscream. He's got some
new artist
motivation.
Too. Jason Howard, which I think, what was the book you read, Clay, about the gigantic?
Oh yeah, Big Girls.
So Jason Howard, same artist.
Yeah, same art, and Big Girls is a great read too. He wrote and drew that one. I love that book. It's a lot of fun.
Jason Howard is also doing The Missionary with Ryan Stegman at Distillery, so staying busy.
Oh, that book is batshit crazy. Yeah. Like from the first page when you open it up, the dialogue just sets the tone.
I haven't gotten a hold of the red band version because I want to see. I'm sure there's a lot more stuff that they put in there.
They did a red band version of that book?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Of course.
That's a must read. That's a great book.
Okay. What else?
That's all I got that I read. I still have a giant stack that I have not gotten to yet. But
all right, let me run through some of the other stuff I picked up, and then we'll finish up with Clay, and then we'll do a review and get out of here. We're getting pretty close to it. Real quick, I know I said 4 was really good. This one's not as good as 4, but it's still really, really good. Ultimate's #5. We get a new Hawkeye. It's very cool. Hawkeye.
I might have to read that. So it's not a Clinton Barton. It's
no.
not a Kate Bishop.
They actually explain exactly why it's not Clint. I picked up. This is from last week, but I finally got to go to Titan. Picked up the new X-Men book. I got a lot of shiny stuff this week. I also picked up this cover for Transformers. This is one of the characters in that book. I just really like this cover. This is the Lullaby cover. I don't remember. Can you see it?
I can't. Who is it?
It's one of the characters from the flashback.
Oh yeah.
I won't go too much into details because it's one of the characters from the flashback.
I thought it was could have been Omega Supreme. We got an Omega Supreme.
Picked up the Cruel Universe from last week as well. Mm-hmm. I don't think I've read this one, so I really need to. Because we got Zach Thompson, Cullen Bunn has a story in here, so very excited. And everything else I got is shiny. So we got
whoa,
the Green Lantern Corps. So they're doing. David Marcus did all these covers. Daniel St. Pierre did all these shiny covers for All In. But then also that book has this one. So this is kicking off the new Green Lantern story. I know they look shinier and cooler, but man, fingerprints on them. Oof.
Should they just sell them bags so you don't have to touch it?
Yeah, and as I was checking out, I was like, oh, please don't touch it too much, so I don't have to wipe it down when I get home.
They have chocolate all over their fingers.
Well, the problem is that they have to scan it. You can even see the fingerprints here.
Yeah,
they have to scan it, and they have to it's hard to scan sometimes the foils. So, and then
because it's reflective.
Yeah. The last book I picked up, the Terminator. Did we talk about this? No, I read it. I talked about it in I Read Comic Books show because I was on it last week. It's really good, by the way. It's on our Dropbox if you guys want to read it.
Okay.
It's like we couldn't kill Sarah Connor or John Connor, but there's other people in the resistance. How about we just go after all their relatives? So like nobody's safe. Yeah, Declan Shalvey's writing it. So like if you like Declan
Ooh,
Shalvey,
I like him.
and they have everyone has a little story in the back as well. So
They should do.
we
You know how Justice League did the Justice League Godzilla King Kong did the when you opened it up they did the covers, the
yeah
gore covers. They should do a Terminator where you open it up and you hear the dun 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 dun
dun,
dun
dun, dun.
dun
Yeah,
dun 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 dun. That'd be
yes,
That
cool.
would be
they
cool.
definitely should do that. All right, Clay, you want to close out with your comics, and then we'll do our review and we get the hell out of here.
Yeah, I have picked up Rick Reminder's Black Science book. I've never read this. Have either of you guys read his Black Science run?
Mm-mm.
This is essentially like Lost in Space, but dimensional. It's a guy who is with a crew, but also includes his kids for some reason that end up just traveling through dimensions. And at times, people are left while behind and stuff. So it's got that Rick Remainder brand to it. So it doesn't go as normal. And of course, people are a little more sketchy in this one. So it's really wild to watch as the families jump dimensions and the things that are changing and the people that are with them. Because there's kind of a Dr. Smith type character in it, but it's all Rick. He does it all his own way. And so I really dig it.
Taking the kids is a real Reed Richards move, huh?
Exactly. Who the hell, but they make the point at the beginning to say like we weren't supposed to travel, this wasn't supposed to happen kind of thing, but it's a whole lot of fun.
Okay, I think we have those big compendiums on our archive
Yeah.
that Image sent us.
Yeah.
And I think there's 3 big volumes if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, right now I have like 5 trades from the library.
Okay. Well, if you want to keep reading, I'm sure they're there somewhere. We can dig them up.
All right. But yeah, that's all I've been reading.
Oh, that's plenty. That's 2 volumes of that's as many single issues as we read, probably all put together.
We just had so much going on. Like I said, I had to redo everything because we had a new roof put on, so we had to take down everything off the walls. So anything that was hanging that could fall while they were banging on the roof.
Because they're like hitting. Okay. I was like,
so,
what?
So everything
so
I have
stuff.
hung up had to come down and then had to go right back up, like within a day.
Oh.
So
you don't
Anybody
realize
who's a collector knows.
Yeah, you don't realize how much shit you got, so you got to move it.
No shit. So, but
All
yeah,
right.
that's all I've been reading. I did pick up a couple of volumes of The Wicked and Divine because I've never read that, but that's just on my reading stack.
You should.
I started reading that a couple of weeks ago because I have never read it either, but I read the first couple issues now and it's good.
Yeah,
okay.
It's really cool. I don't know if I finished it, but I've definitely started Wicked and the Divine.
Yeah, my library's got like 9 volumes, and I don't know how many total there are.
There's 47 issues total, I think.
So that
somewhere
could be
around
9 volumes. Yeah.
So it could be everything. All right, let's close out the show. So our friends are actually, we get a lot of books sent, and I think Jeff suggested a couple this week, and we ended up picking this book, Vicarious, from Boom Studios, Vicarious #1. Let's talk about the creatives. Let me give you a synopsis, and then we'll get into talking about it. This book is written by Ryan Parrott, who you may know from Power Rangers and stuff like that. Illustrated by Eleonora Carlini. Colored by Matteo Iacono and Luca Mattioni. Letters by Becca Carey. This main cover by Dan Panosian, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, "Oh, that's Panosian's work." Like, obviously, the signature's right there, but like, he has a very distinct. He's a very good cover artist.
Yeah, I love his style.
Yeah, and then you'll see a few more covers when we end the video.
Is this the same Dan Panosian that kind of took over for X-Force when Liefeld left?
Yes, I think so.
That man is so talented because that stuff, like when he was forced to try to follow Liefeld, like I was just like, oh, so ugly. But like Canary blew me away. This cover is awesome. And now I'm like, oh, you are that talented. Like you can make your work look like crappy
he,
Liefeld work and then pull this out now.
he has his own style, but he's also done stuff where he kind of mimics other people's work,
Yeah,
and it
yeah,
also like it's very good. So
yeah.
yeah,
He's so
yeah,
good.
yeah. I think he does a stream. I think like a drink and draw type of
Drink and
thing.
draw. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So highly encourage you to check that out if you like cool art. So, all right, in this book, enter Justin, a nameless 20-something desperate for human connection and excitement. Who isn't, Justin? Uh, After a dangerous encounter reveals itself as a fortuitous opportunity, Justin finds just what he's looking for in a secret world of proxies, young, pretty, ambitious hustlers like himself who allow the rich to access their feelings and experiences through technological implant. Does Justin have what it takes to make it in this seductive new world? Um, yeah, this is a brand new original sci-fi psychological thriller in the vein of this. This felt to me like when I read the premise, like that movie Surrogates, the Bruce
Yeah.
Willis, right? So let's start. So I'm interested before we talked about this a little bit earlier. I think Clay may not have enjoyed this book as much. So Clay, why don't we start with you, and then we'll see if we can turn you like we can see what's going on here.
So they do like kind of an explainer at the beginning to kind of set it up, which I really hate when they do that because I think the last book review we reviewed had the same thing where it explained how things were, and then the story actually did a better job of explaining. I kind of lost interest. Like I'm watching and reading, as it starts to go on, and I'm like, I kind of just don't care. Like nothing hooked me early on to the point I didn't finish it. So I mean,
Oh, interesting.
yeah, like, and I hate that I gave up so quick, but like I'm just kind of like I don't care. I don't know. They've explained some stuff at the beginning, but are we getting there? And it's like, I know it's 22 pages, but if it's not getting me, I'll just put the book down. So
That's fair.
He's like, I
Uh,
got Black Science to read.
yeah.
yeah, right. Now, Jeff, what did you think of the book?
I enjoyed it. To Clay's point, the pacing is a little weird in the book
Yeah,
because it does have like an explainer, then it kind of builds some characters, and then there's a little twist at the very, very end.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
and so you're kind of like, okay. And for me, the interest didn't pick up until after our main character like makes the
After their
first
meeting, the big meeting,
after the
right?
meeting. Yeah, after the meeting. So at first I was kind of like with Clay, I was like, what is this world we're getting into? Okay, I'm kind of like just whatever. And then after that first plot turn or story point turn,
Yeah,
then I was like, okay, now this is kind of interesting. It definitely talks about how relation, like I guess you don't really know who you're talking to, kind of stuff. There's like a lot of stuff that we can weave into this story that could make it
mhm,
super interesting and super prescient as to what our times like, how we live today socially and whatnot.
yeah.
Uh, you know, we can talk about drug
Especially,
addiction, all kinds of things can go into this
yeah,
story.
there's definitely a lot, I think. So I will
Yeah.
say to your point, Jeff, and Clay, I would encourage you to try to read it again because this explainer that we have in the first couple of pages actually comes back towards the end of the book. So it's not really explainer. It's like something that one of the characters is saying to somebody else is just kind of presented in a way. So when I was
Oh,
reading it, I
okay.
was like, I've read this before. Like when I was reading the dialogue towards the end of the book, I was like, I've read this before, and I went back, and it's pretty much so this narrator that we have explaining everything in the beginning, in these pages right here. Oh, whoops! In these pages right here is actually dialogue that's woven within the story once things kick off. So I would definitely encourage you to maybe try it again.
Okay.
I definitely, after I finished the last page, I went back to the
Right.
beginning of the
Yeah.
comic to review.
Yeah. I will say the main character is probably not the most likable. Like especially here.
Yeah, that's tough too. That's a tough
Yeah,
read
yeah.
when someone you just go, oh, fuck this guy.
Yeah. Like you see this guy with all these like I don't know job interviews or whatever, and you're like, well, it doesn't feel like you're really trying, homie. Like, listen, I know it's hard to get a job, but it doesn't feel like you're really trying. And then of course, he has a just like kind of bumming around and running from his landlord. They try to do a little bit of like give him some like a save the cat type of moment by him coming to the aid of somebody that's kind of being attacked just for a prejudice, right? They're only attacking him because he has an implant and he's one of these surrogate people.
Surrogates.
Yeah, yeah. I know they're not called surrogates in this book, but I mean that's all I keep thinking about. But yeah, once like Jeff said, once this meeting happened and the main character goes into the actual world of like people living vicariously through other people, things got then get very interesting. And then like I said, then in the last few pages, there's like a big twist that I was like, oh shit. So like I don't want to spoil anything, but that
Okay.
really kind of put it over the top. So it's very interesting. I recommend you give it another chance. I know sometimes I send you guys the books late in the day, so like if it's the end of the day, you're probably
Yeah.
like, I'm tired. I don't want to go. Like if I'm not hooked now.
Yeah,
So
so yeah, because that kind of was the deal. I was like, it was the last thing I was going to read, and then I was
yeah.
like, "There's nothing hooking me." But then you're kind of telling me the hook is the cliffhanger at the end, I guess.
Yeah, there's definitely more. Like there's a turn in the story, like around the middle, where like okay, think this is what the book is really about.
Yeah,
Everything else was just kind of the way to get there. So I agree, the pacing's a little weird, or at least the way that things are presented, it's kind of weird. It's an interesting order, but I do want to know more. Like I want to know more about the technology or even the tattoos that they
Yeah.
have, because those actually have some deeper meaning and stuff. And then, like I said, there's the big twist towards the end where you're like, when I read that page, I had to go back and check another thing in the book. Like I thought I missed something, and then I was like, oh no, this is something else. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
pretty
great. Yeah,
interesting.
that's why I went to flip back through too as well.
Yeah.
The art is pretty good. There's
Oh
sometimes
yeah.
the characters look a little the same. And
yeah,
but there's but I think that's kind of that anime influence that you can
It's
see.
very stylized.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Um,
Um, yeah,
I
it's
went back
pretty good.
to I went to the artist's Instagram and they have some really cool work. But it's not sequential stuff really that they have on there. So I don't
Yeah.
know if this is some of their, maybe this is their first sequential work or maybe just some of the earlier stuff. So but I mean it looks cool. Like I like manga, so like I don't
oh
mind
yeah,
when things look a little bit samey, just to kind of focus on the movement and the action that's going on, right?
Yeah.
So but yeah, I like it. I really like how expressive his face is, even if I don't
Exactly.
specifically like him in general. So all right.
So yeah,
Any last thoughts on Vicarious?
give it a try is what I
I
say.
will. I'll revisit it.
Yes. Now the other book that we were gonna check out, and I did send it to you guys that we just didn't have time for, is Exorcism at 1600 Pen.
I didn't get a chance to read that one yet.
Yeah, I didn't get a
I
chance.
love the title.
I read the Ashcan, and I think it's pretty interesting. The premise is that uh, what if the first woman president is elected, but there's also an exorcism. There's a possession that happens in the White House, so there's a lot going on. Very timely book too.
What
So
the hell?
I know. Let me put up the covers for Vicarious just to close out that part of the video. Um,
Whoa.
yeah, some intense stuff. But yeah, I will. Maybe we'll talk about 1600 Pen next week too.
Yeah.
I definitely want to. I want to hear what you guys think, because when I read the pitch, I was like, "What the hell?" And obviously, this is coming out like a month before the big election, where we could have the first woman president. So, like, are the demons coming too? Like, what's going on? Um, well, I think that's it. That's our show at 11. We did it, guys. I'm glad we started 5 minutes early so we could time it out perfectly. So, in
Mission
the chat, yes, pull out the banners. We did it. Thanks to Darth Lopez for checking it out, and then also subscribing and putting us in the multiverse of YouTube comic book channels, which I can imagine there's
Woohoo!
so
a
many. I mean,
billion.
we got 57,999, so there's definitely a lot out there Leonard Kim, shout out, always checking us out, always watching. Go watch the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare if you have stars.
Oh yeah, it's so good.
So good, so good. So yeah. Anything else from you guys?
Good.
Nope. I'm all happy birthday, Kyle.
Happy birthday, Kyle.
Thanks everyone. Bye bye.
The most important thing in life will always be
Hell, Bebo.
Twitter loves you.
Simon Center, get the fuck out.